We are teetering on the brink of relegation here in Season 2 of our realistic Norwich City career mode. With just 10 games left to play, we find ourselves just a point above the drop zone. And of those 10 games, half of them are against top 6 clubs, as we are still yet to face Manchester City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Newcastle. We'll be facing 3 of those clubs here in today's episode, but we will be simulating each of those games. I'll also be showing you some highlights of some more winnable fixtures against Leicester and Nottingham Forest. And our featured game of today's episode will be against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. So we will, of course, take as many points as we can from those fixtures, but after having won just a single game in our last 11 fixtures, realistically, I think it's time that we start preparing for life in the Championship again. With Josh Sargent set to depart in the summer, Jason Steele's contract about to expire, and Johnny Rowe attracting interest from other clubs, there's going to be a lot of squad turnover again in the summer, so we might be looking to the likes of Bobby Parker, Hugh Hunt, and Oliver Lawson to take on a more prominent role in the first team next season. And we may even be calling upon some new Youth Academy graduates to do the same. The future of our number 1 position is up in the air, but Paul Stewart has as much chance long term of obtaining the shirt as anyone. Reece Moss looks like he could be the next in a long line of really talented young fullbacks to come out of Norwich's academy, whilst William Lee and Reece Preston each look like they could be a long-term successor to Johnny Rowe if he does leave the club in the summer. Our youth scouts are each returning on the 28th of this month, so make sure you stay tuned till the end of the episode, where we will be signing a fresh batch of youngsters that could hopefully be the future of our club. But now though, we have a game against Nottingham Forest to focus on, who are also trying to make sure they stay clear of the relegation zone in 14th place. And though we might be preparing for life in the Championship, we are of course going to try our best to stay up, and that has meant slowly reshaping our coaching staff behind the scenes to allow us to switch back to the wing play tactical vision. We simply have not been anywhere close to successful enough with the tiki-taka approach, but switching to wing play earlier in the season meant our form was even worse because we had 4 bronze coaches, with 4 silver coaches accomplished both by training our in-house staff and hiring some new members. We will be switching back to the more direct style of play for these last 2 months of the season as a desperate last attempt to secure survival. We are also going to be utilising the combination of long ball and direct passing, which is a combination we didn't attempt before. 90 width, with plenty of players in the box, especially from set pieces. We'll also be utilising the 3 at the back formation a little bit more often over the course of the next 2 months. That's what Johannes Thorup has gone with today, a back 3 of Pfeiffer, Chambers and Hoyt, Wolf and Toffolo either side. Then Donker comes in for the injured Lewis O'Brien, Sainz and Rowe support Captain Sargent up front, whilst Nottingham Forest should prove a pretty tough test for the new tactics, but could well be a team to exploit as they play a counter-attacking style of their own. And we almost got off to the perfect start in this one. Johnny Rowe and Josh Sargent linking up well down the right-hand side. Johnny Rowe finding some space in the penalty area, but it was a good save from Matt Turner at his near post. 20 minutes into the game though, Johnny Rowe would find himself with another opportunity. The ball initially cleared from the free kick by Nottingham Forest, but Johnny Rowe was found by Callum Chambers after the rebound, and he absolutely fired the ball into the top corner. The highlights are a little bit light on this one, but there were plenty of opportunities for both teams. This one from Marius Wolf almost doubled the lead. Several of the Norwich City players had their hands in the air in celebration, but it was a fantastic free kick, fantastically saved by Matt Turner, tipping it onto the post. And although Nottingham Forest pressed for an equaliser with 5 minutes left on the clock, I thought Adam Eder had secured the victory for us late on. His shot, however, was pushed just wide of the post, and it seemed as if we were going to come to rue that missed opportunity. Nottingham Forest putting the ball in the back of the net with just seconds left on the clock, but Simeone's goal was ruled out for offside and we were let off the hook. We did manage to hang on for those final moments and secure the 1-0 victory, so it's a second win in 12 games now. Still not the best run of form, but if we can put 3 points on the board on a couple more occasions between now and the end of the season, survival certainly still a possibility. Picking up those 3 points early in the episode was essential, not only because it puts us 3 points clear of the relegation zone with a game in hand, but also because we now face Newcastle and Liverpool in the space of 5 days, and the chance of getting any points against those sides are remote. So it will be the same formation as we host Newcastle at Carrow Road, but there will be a couple of changes to the starting 11. Jose Cordoba comes into the back three. Tiano Ballo now joins Johnny Rowe in support of Josh Sargent up front, but it's not enough to get a result as Newcastle run out comfortable 3-1 winners. Johnny Rowe did grab another goal about an hour into the game, but a pretty comfortable victory for Newcastle United, as to be expected. That's why we're simulating Newcastle, Liverpool and Arsenal. I'm not expecting to get anything against those sides, whether we play them or not, whereas opponents like Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Leicester, if we play those games, we've got a good chance of getting a result. So I'm fully expecting another defeat here as we travel to Anfield for the third game of the episode. Ryan Fredericks comes into the side for this one, as well as Adam Eder up front. Miles Lewis-Skelly makes his first start for Norwich City in the Premier League. He'll want as many chances to impress as possible before the end of the season so that we can decide if we're going to pick up that loan to buy option. We come so close to getting a result against Liverpool. They open the score in about 25 minutes into the game, double their lead an hour in, but 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes for Chambers and Eder drew us level with a little over 20 minutes to play. Liverpool grabbed a winner regardless, and that defeat does drag us back down into the relegation zone, 3 points behind Brighton now, but we do still have that game in hand. Brighton are on a great run of form, not only beating Leicester most recently, but beating Chelsea 1-0 at Stamford Bridge, which brings us to our fourth and featured game of the episode against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Palace are also playing a 3 at the back, so it could be quite a cagey defensive affair. They've got a very strong back 3 as well. Kalulu, Liner and Richards, all big, strong, quick, powerful centre-backs. Tyrick Mitchell captains the side at left back. They still have Eze on left wing, but he's been joined by Campos and Brian Brobby up front. So they should be more than a match for Johannes Thorup's side, which will line up in the same formation and with the same starting 11 that got 3 points against Nottingham Forest earlier in the episode. So Sargent again leads the line. Sainz and Rowe will play just behind him. Nunez and Dendoncker will be the pairing in midfield, with a back 5 of Toffolo, Hoyt, Pfeiffer, Chambers and Wolf standing just in front of Jason Steele in goal. So without further ado, let's head over to Selhurst Park for another all-important bottom of the table clash here in the Premier League.
Will you please make some noise as we welcome our visitors, Norwich City, and your Eagles,
So we are up in the commentary box for a game that I am convinced we are going to win. Famous last words, I know. But these tactics feel so much better. Not just than the tiki-taka tactics we have been using, but so much better than the wing play tactics that we were employing previously. And I'm convinced that that is in large part due to the coaches. We now have 4 silver coaches. Before, they were all bronze, or I think we had 3 bronze and 1 silver, to be fair. And I think that was the big reason we couldn't string 2 passes together on wing play previously. I mean, the coaches literally give your players a boost to their attributes, so how can that not impact your performance on the field? But our coaches have been working behind the scenes on expanding their repertoire. We have also fired and hired a couple of coaches, so we are able to play a more direct style of football with a bit more success. We've seen that success already by taking 3 points against Nottingham Forest at Carrow Road. We're going to be looking to do the same here against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. It's going to be a difficult game, though. Lots of interesting new additions to the Crystal Palace side, one of which is Lucas Ocampos. A Michael Elise replacement playing on the right-hand side for Crystal Palace today. A really, really robust back line as well for Palace. Richards, Lynott, Tyrick Mitchell, the captain of the side today, and Marius Wolf has invited pressure early. And really, Crystal Palace should have at least got a shot on target there. But yeah, Johannes Thorup not pleased by what he has seen from his side in these opening 5 or 10 minutes or so. However, let's grow into the game. Let's start playing some football. Let's get a goal. Let's get 3 points. Toffolo finds Den Donker. Big switch of play is on. Johnny Rowe, can he nod it into the path of Marius Wolf? Just about. And he's offside. I was looking down the line there. I didn't think he was. But he's clearly offside. Clearly offside. Den Donker having to play more of a prominent role over the last couple of months of the season due to Lewis O'Brien's injury. I mean, we brought him in with the intention of him obviously playing quite a prominent role, Den Donker. But he's been pretty poor since joining the club, really. And we had intended, as Josh Sargent potentially can come away on this right-hand side if he can play Johnny Rowe in behind. Richards there, though, as we said. Strong, fast, powerful, robust back line of Crystal Palace are going to be a tough nut to crack today. We did, of course, bring Den Donker in when we were intending on playing 3 centre midfielders. So it was going to be O'Brien, Nunez and Den Donker all to play together. As Harry Toffolo delivers. Sargent across the near post. Parried away by Henderson. And is that going to be a free kick to Crystal Palace? How on earth is it Josh Sargent that has committed the infringement there? Sargent gets the shot away. Henderson can't hold on to it. And comes through the back of Sargent as he tries to collect the ball. Sargent ends up in a pile. And it's the Crystal Palace goalkeeper that gets the free kick. Oh, sorry, Dean Henderson. Sorry that I fouled you with the back of my leg. I'm sorry my calf made such an impact on your sprawling arms. Absolutely outrageous decision. Hoyt can't quite find Sargent. Sargent can steal the ball away from Munoz, though. And Borja Sainz is through on goal. Only Lynott to beat. And he's just going to have to take a pot shot at goal because Lynott did have the pace to recover. Not recover so much. It wasn't his mistake. More cover than recover. But all Sainz can do is poke the ball towards the near post, where Henderson comfortably parries away. But Nunez will deliver the corner again in search of Sainz. Challenge there from Patrick Pfeiffer, but it is going to be another Crystal Palace free kick. So, a couple things that we need to address as Borja Sainz has picked up an injury. Hopefully he can run that off. A couple things we need to address as there have been some developments in real life. The first is that Adam Eder looks set to join Celtic for $9.5 million. I'm very surprised Norwich got as much as $9.5 million out of Celtic. As Munoz beats Toffolo. Hoyt's going to have to come across. Steele makes the save. We are allowing Crystal Palace in behind far too easily. Steele smothers at the near post. Saves with his chest. Big, brave stop at the near post there. And Hoyt just about wins the header and Den Donker hooks clear. So Eder looks set to join Celtic. I'm not going to be replicating that in the game. We are almost 2 seasons deep now. If we were starting the career mode today, then I would, of course, replicate that transfer. But we're 2 years further along now. It's Patrick Pfeiffer and Callum Chambers between them. Just about managed to squeeze the ball out for a corner kick rather than to allow Eberechi Eze's shot to find the target. So we're not going to replicate the Adam Idah transfer. Instead, Adam Idah's going to play far more of a role for us next season. He's probably going to be our starting striker next season. Josh Sargent will be leaving the club, as we did have to use gentleman's agreement on him earlier in the season, and that means we can keep hold of him till the end of the season, but then we do have to let him go if an offer comes in, and I imagine it will. I may even encourage an offer to come in for Sargent as Crystal Palace continue to press and we continue to defend deep. Patrick Pfeiffer can't win it back though, and it's such a good move by Crystal Palace. It's such a good move. And Brian Brobby, we knew he was going to be an issue today. And he does give Palace the lead. I'm not too worried. I said at kickoff, I am convinced we're going to win this game. I'm still convinced. We're a goal down, half an hour in. Not even that, probably 25 minutes. I'm still convinced we're going to come back in this game. We're going to get an equaliser before half-time. We're going to get a winner at some point in the second half. We don't need to worry. But 1-0 down. We're going to step up into our attacking game plan. We're going to start trying to dictate the pace of the game, the tempo of the game a little more now. Crystal Palace have had the better start by far. They've been all over us, to be honest, in the opening 25 minutes. But that is not going to last much longer. It's going to last a little while longer as Leander Dendoncker invites pressure with a loose pass. Eze. Good run from Brian Brobby up ahead of him. Nunez can't quite win it back. Crystal Palace presenting even more of a test than I thought they would. Nunez, that's another loose pass, this time from Johnny Rowe. And if we are going to get back in this game, we need to start being a little bit more clinical when we do get on the ball. Well won from Leander Dendoncker. Borja Sainz is going to come away. Squeezes past Munoz. And he's going to be in behind on this left-hand side. Josh Sargent with a run. Across the face of goal. Can't quite win the header. And Dean Henderson collects. So Adam Idah, he'll be staying. Josh Sargent will almost certainly be leaving in the summer. Adam Idah will be our starting striker, regardless of whether we remain in the Premier League or if we go down to the Championship. If we remain in the Premier League, Idah will probably be our starting striker. If we go down to the Championship, he will definitely be our starting striker. The other thing to address is Johnny Rowe. I was quite happy to keep hold of Johnny Rowe because we've kept hold of him for this long. We gave him a contract extension at the start of the season, or in January rather. We were kind of playing it by ear for the first half of the season. It got to January. Nobody came in with a real offer for him. So we did give him that contract extension. Good save, Jason Steele. And I was happy to keep hold of him as a result. However, there has been interest from Marseille in real life for Johnny Rowe. And Rowe actually refused to play for Norwich at the weekend. He was in the starting lineup for the opening game of the season for Norwich, as I record this, against Oxford. And 20 minutes before the game kicked off, he said, I'm not playing. And you can understand why he said that if you're potentially on the verge of a move to a significantly bigger club. Johnny Rowe strikes from range, flashes wide. Unfortunately, that's been our clearest sight of goal so far. Really good strike from Johnny Rowe, and it's not far. It's not far off. Henderson was beaten clearly. So I can understand why Johnny Rowe refused to play at the weekend. If you're on the verge of a big money move or a move to a bigger club, you don't want to play and risk getting injured. So you can understand it from Rowe's perspective, but you just can't do it. You can't refuse to play. Especially 20 minutes before the game. So Norwich City fans are understandably a little bit miffed, to say the least, with Johnny Rowe. I think a number of Norwich fans wouldn't mind seeing the back of him now after that. Marius Wolf. So you'll have to let me know. Josh Sargent. Then Donker strikes from range, easily blocked. So you have to let me know in the comments how we deal with that, because we're not replicating the Adam Eder move in real life, because we are 2 years further down the line. Do we replicate the Johnny Rowe move that looks set to happen in real life? I mean, it's certainly not set to happen. From what I understand, Marseille's offer was significantly short of Norwich's valuation. So it's not set in stone by any means that Johnny Rowe will be leaving the club. But obviously his actions have soured his reputation at Norwich City somewhat. He was a bit of a fan favourite, really. How quickly things can change. Before the weekend, he was a fan favourite and somebody that Norwich City fans probably thought could be, you know, one of the driving forces of any sort of Norwich City success this season in real life. And now all of that has been soured by his refusal to play. So let me know in the comments, what should we do? Should we hold on to him as we were planning to do? Should we sell him? We could get a tidy sum for him, so I would be happy either way. So I will let you guys dictate that particular transfer. The first half has absolutely flown by, probably because I've been absolutely waffling about this, that and the other over the course of the first half. But Crystal Palace, as we approach the half-time whistle, as the half-time whistle sounds, are a goal to the good. I said before the game, or as the game kicked off, I'm convinced we're going to win. I said just after Crystal Palace scored the opener that we're going to get an equaliser before half-time. That certainly didn't come true. It's very much looking like my first prediction is not going to come true either. However, second half, I will stop talking such nonsense. I will focus on the game a little bit more. And I'm still convinced we will come away with the victory. Thank you for checking out this episode of our realistic Norwich City career mode. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're approaching the end of the FC24 cycle now, but there'll be plenty more content to come with the release of FC25, including 12th man memberships. If you want to get more involved with the channel, check out the membership tiers on my homepage. Memberships start at less than £2 per month and come with a whole host of benefits and rewards, including you being able to feature in my career mode saves. We'll be starting a road to glory with a created club as soon as FC25 drops. So if you want to be included in the save or even feature in our starting 11, become a 12th man member of the channel today. 12th man members also get exclusive early access to all of my videos, not only my career mode series, but also my realistic slider sets and everything else in between. If you want more information about exactly what each tier involves, be sure to check out this video on my homepage. If memberships aren't for you, you can also join the public area of my Discord server, or just keep watching and enjoying the content for free right here on YouTube. As always, I appreciate all of your encouragement and support. Now, let's get back to the video. Right, if you can't tell, my game face is on. I am locked in, and we are coming away from Selhurst Park with 3 points. I am convinced. Johnny Rowe immediately steals the ball away. Marcelino Nunez in a good position, but blocked by the Crystal Palace man. Usually you see a handball and a free kick there. Not on this occasion. Marius Wolf can't quite steal the ball away from Tyrick Mitchell on his first attempt, but did manage eventually to recover possession. And we're not getting forward quickly enough when we win possession back. And Crystal Palace's formation is making it somewhat difficult to do that, as they do of course have that back five. Harry Toffolo does well to see the Crystal Palace man off the ball. Callum Chambers into the path of Marius Wolf. Johnny Rowe in behind. And he's onside, but it's a poor pass. It's a really poor pass, Marius Wolf. That just needed to be dropped in over the shoulder of the Crystal Palace defender, and Johnny Rowe would have been onto that. Worked well from Crystal Palace into the feet of Brian Brobby, who opened the scoring in that first half. Good challenge, Wesley Hoyt. Who gallops forward and plays a perfect pass into the path of Borja Sainz, who does really well to twist and turn away from a couple of Crystal Palace defenders. Can't quite get the cross into the box, and Dendonka commits a foul on the edge of the Crystal Palace box. We will continue to pressure Palace, though. And that's a risky pass to Dean Henderson, who does hook clear, but was walking a tightrope there along his own goal line for a moment. Marcelino Nunez. He can strike from range. It is blocked by Crystal Palace again. Borja Sainz trying to make a nuisance of himself. And one back by Patrick Pfeiffer. Marius Wolf. We know what he can do from these kind of positions. He can't find Josh Sargent on that particular occasion. And Crystal Palace again can come away. Good challenge, Marcelino Nunez. Patrick Pfeiffer. And Callum Chambers will step up into midfield. And then find Marcelino Nunez. Crystal Palace defending so deep and so compact. All 11 men behind the ball. Firmly behind the ball as well. You know, not just inside their own half, but really, really deep. Another good ball into the box. Cleared away by Crystal Palace. Callum Chambers recovers. Pinning Crystal Palace back a little deeper now. It's another ball into the box from Marius Wolf. And another headed clearance from Crystal Palace, but we will have a free kick in a dangerous situation, which Marcelino Nunez will be able to take. Borja Sainz has run off the knock that he picked up in the first half. Do we go for goal with Marcelino Nunez? I think we do. Marius Wolf came close to scoring against Nottingham Forest with a free kick. Marcelino Nunez further away. Borja Sainz's shot again was blocked by a Crystal Palace defence that continued to sit deep and defend their one-goal lead with pretty much everything. Well worked on the counter-attack, though. Eberechi Eze, lovely ball, but Marius Wolf is going to get there first. And Johnny Rowe is going to be away on this right-hand side. Found very well by Jason Steele. And if we can get some players up in support and into the box, Josh Sargent a little bit lax in his supporting run. Nunez across the face of goal. Hooked clear by Crystal Palace. But if we had a man running in at the back post there, Borja Sainz gambled a little bit more, then we could have had an easy tap in at the far post. Here is Borja Sainz. Again, just so many Crystal Palace defenders back to crowd him out. But once more, Callum Chambers. Good run, Nunez. Lets it go for Johnny Rowe. I don't think he's going to get there. He's not. The ball's going to go out of play. And I think we're going to have to make some changes. Crystal Palace doing the same. Tyrick Mitchell to come off for Pedraza. And it's going to be just a single change for Johannes Thorup as Patrick Pfeiffer makes way. It's going to be Tiano Ballo to replace him, though. So we are switching to a 4-3-3 attack for the next, well, however many minutes it takes to grab an equaliser at the very least. So Tiano Ballo is on in the number 10 position. Johnny Rowe, Borja Sainz out wide. Josh Sargent, of course, continues up front. And we have just two at the back now with Callum Chambers and Wesley Hoyt. Tiano Ballo twisting, turning away from a Crystal Palace man, but loses out to Lerma. Crystal Palace committing bodies forward to a counter-attack now, which has stalled somewhat. Really well won by Tiano Ballo. Can't break forward quickly enough, though, and Ballo has picked up a knock in the meantime. Good feet from Brian Brobby to skip away from Wesley Hoyt, who does manage to recover and ease Eze off the ball. Toffolo. Good run from Sainz, and Toffolo has dropped the ball into his path. But he's been eased off the ball so well by the Crystal Palace defender. And it's really starting to look like we are not even going to get a point from this game at Selhurst Park, let alone all three. We will, of course, continue to press for the equaliser. But with 20 minutes to go, we haven't really looked like scoring, to be honest. But Johnny Rowe has laid the ball into the path of Marius Wolf, who strikes towards the far corner of the goal and grabs that equaliser with 20 minutes left to play. The equaliser didn't come before half-time, but it has come. And I think we'll be sticking with this formation and this approach at least for the next 10-15 minutes or so. I was expecting Marius Wolf to be playing balls in behind for Johnny Rowe, making those kinds of runs. The roles were reversed. Johnny Rowe slips Marius Wolf in behind. And it's the right back that's grabbed the equaliser. It doesn't matter who scores if we put the ball in the back of the net. And the away fans are making their voices heard as they try and cheer their side on to grab a winner. We'll see if Crystal Palace step out of their defensive game plan that they have been in really since they scored that opening goal, and see if they press for a winner. I kind of hope they do, because we can then exploit holes in behind on the counter-attack a little more easily. Marius Wolf can't win it back. Eze finds Lerma. Ballo back to defend. Really well worked from Crystal Palace though. Eze into the box. Brian Brobby with the ball at his feet. Marius Wolf wins it back. Brobby goes down. Referee is having none of it. Crystal Palace continue to press though. Well won by Den Donker. And Borja Sainz can come away on this left-hand side. Eases away from the Crystal Palace midfielder. Marcelino Nunez. Johnny Rowe up ahead of him. Johnny Rowe with the goal at his mercy. Hits it straight at Dean Henderson. That was the winner. That was the winning goal. Marius Wolf steals it back and it's a free kick. Josh Sargent in the box all alone and the referee blows his whistle. Johnny Rowe with the chance to score the winner. Josh Sargent almost certainly would have knocked the ball into the back of the net if Marius Wolf found him there. But the referee has absolutely bailed Crystal Palace out. A couple of really favourable decisions going Crystal Palace's way in this game. Eze finds Lerma. Ballo pressing energetically. Crystal Palace work it into the feet of Eze and Pedraza. Marius Wolf steals it away, and again Johnny Rowe is away on this right-hand side. No, it's just between Nunez and Ballo. Johnny Rowe had two Norwich City shirts to find. He put it in the only space between the two of them where the ball was available for the Crystal Palace man to steal away. Stay on your line, Jason Steele. He loves coming off his line when it is absolutely a ludicrous decision to do so. It's a good challenge, Marius Wolf. Crystal Palace making changes. I think we're going to have to do the same. Eze to come off. And we don't have a huge amount of options on the bench at the moment, but it is going to be a triple change. Kenny McLean, Adam Eder and Ryan Fredericks to come on. So we are sticking with a front three. But it is going to be Josh Sargent out on the left-hand side. Ryan Fredericks with his 86 pace on the ball. And on the right-hand side, he plays the ball into the path of Marcelino Nunez. And I'm hoping Josh Sargent. Nunez turns inside. Fredericks. Nunez. I'm hoping Josh Sargent will be getting in at the back post, so that Ryan Fredericks can find him with a cross or two. That's the thinking behind it. We play Fredericks with his 86 pacing down the right-hand side. We have Adam Eder and Josh Sargent in the centre and at the back post to aim for with crosses. Of course, we're going to have Marius Wolf on the overlap as well. So just about 5 minutes to go in the game. And we are going to continue to press for a winner. Oh, Sargent almost steals the ball away. We could well just... Nunez steals it away. I was going to say we could well just try and hold on to the point that we've got. Tiano Ballo. Nunez sold him a little bit short with the pass. Nunez once more, though. Crystal Palace back to defend. Marius Wolf took too long. And Nunez is offside. I just needed Marius Wolf to get the ball out of his feet and cross it there. Oh, that's so frustrating. I think I probably made a poor decision coming back out to the right-hand side. Well won, though. Fredericks, Nunez, Ballo with a good run, and Kenny McLean has stopped. Why start that run if you're just going to stop as soon as I press the pass button? Oh, that's absolutely infuriating. Why are you faking me out? Oh, Kenny McLean made the perfect run. And then he just stopped dead in his tracks. Go, Ballo, move. Ballo. He has pace. Enough to skip away from the Crystal Palace defender. Enough to work space for the shot. But it's blocked. We failed to win at Selhurst Park. I was convinced we were going to. Even as we approached the 80th, 85th, 88th minute, I was convinced we would find a winner. Doesn't end up coming to fruition. And we failed to win what I think could have been our game in hand. We will, of course, have to see if Brighton played this weekend as well. But it is points shared at Selhurst Park. You could argue it's a decent result, especially after the first half that Crystal Palace had. And since Crystal Palace took the lead. And especially since Crystal Palace had 59% possession. You can see, though, they didn't try and do too much with it. They were happy to sit behind the ball and defend once they did get that lead. A point, probably the right result. Brighton did also play this weekend, but fortunately they lost 1-0 to Liverpool. So we should just be 3 points behind them in the table still with that game in hand. Now, we do have 2 more games to get to in today's episode, but we are also just 2 days away from our youth scouts returning. So first, we're going to sign a fresh crop of youngsters to our youth academy. Now, we have already signed 3 youth prospects from England, so we can only sign an additional 3 this season. So I've narrowed it down to 4 players, George Harrington and Benjamin Massey. We are guaranteed to be able to sign based on their potential. Aaron Holden and Jack Bradley, we are not guaranteed to sign. I would very much like to sign Aaron Holden, though. And with an average potential of 81, he is the prospect we have a better chance of signing. We still only have a 40% chance of signing him, though, so we do have to roll the dice. And it is successful. A little under a 50-50 shot, but we do get our guy. So we can sign Aaron Holden. He is a 6'3", looks to be striker. I guess he could play cam, though. 74 to 88 potential and a 400,000 valuation. And I would be more than happy signing Harrington and Massey in addition to Holden. But I think we will roll the dice on Bradley first. With an average potential of 82, we have just a 30% chance of signing him. So a little less than 1 in 3. But we may as well roll the dice, considering we do have those 2 prospects as a backup if we do fail. And we do fail to sign Jack Bradley. So Bradley looks like a very, very good prospect. 425,000 valuation, but 74 to 90 potential and really good physical attributes. But we do have to let him go. George Harrington, just 5'5", but 72 to 84 potential and a 475,000 valuation at 18 years old. He plays centre midfield, and we'll be signing Benjamin Massey. The same valuation. He plays out on the left. 71 to 87 potential, this time at just 16 years of age. Our American Scouts youth report is a little more feast or famine. We have some incredible looking prospects like Mark Bennett, 1.4 million valuation with an 84 potential, or Christian Davis, also an 84 potential, 550 valuation. Looks like a really solid centre midfielder. We've even got Dylan Wilson here as well, just a 76 potential, but a 950 valuation. And beyond that, we've got guys like Harry Coleman, Kevin Jones, Jonathan Armstrong, who don't have the highest potentials or valuations at this point, but could potentially grow into something much later down the line. We've only signed one American youth prospect so far, so we are able to sign 5 more. Dylan Wilson, we are guaranteed to be able to sign with just a 76 potential. The same goes for Jonathan Armstrong as well, with a 74 potential. But next, we are going to roll the dice on Davis, Bennett and Jones, all of whom have an 84 potential. So I'm going to start out with the goalkeeper, Mark Bennett. We did recently sign Paul Stewart, so we're not desperate for another young goalkeeper. And indeed, we do fail. So Mark Bennett is on his way. And next up will be Kevin Jones. We have the same odds of signing the 17-year-old left back, just 10%, so very unlikely. And again, we do fail. And I do really like the look of Christian Davis, 81 to 87 potential with a 550 valuation at just 16 years of age, 61 to 71 pace, 65 to 75 dribbling. I've just got a really good feeling about this guy, and I am tempted to use another one of our guaranteed prospects on him. I guess it wouldn't hurt first to roll the dice in Buzzco's prospect signing calculator. We do fail, so if we want Christian Davis, we are going to have to use guaranteed prospects. With Liam Gibbs failing to impress, with Jacob Sorensen, Kenny McLean, our real depth at centre midfield, I think we could use a young player in the centre of the park with some high upside. So we are going to use our second guaranteed prospects on Christian Davis. We're also going to sign Harry Coleman. We are guaranteed to be able to do that at just an 80 potential. And I don't believe we've signed any Danish youth prospects this season, so we can acquire the full 6 right now. Simon Olsen is the only one we would have to roll the dice on. He has an average potential of 82, so again, that gives us a 30% chance of being able to sign him. And again, we do unfortunately fail. It's not a huge loss because Olsen looks decent, 65 to 75 pace, 68 to 78 physical, does have a good potential, but only 190 valuation at 17 years of age, just a 50 to 54 overall. He would take a lot of work to become a first team player. But the rest of these players we will just be signing. We can sign them without checking Buzzco's prospect signing calculator thanks to their slightly lower overalls, and we may as well sign them just to fill our quota for the season. So Christian Davis, who I had such high hopes for, is just a 57 overall, but he is only 16 years of age, medium work rates for now, pace and dribbling just about to push over into the 70s, and he's guaranteed at least one playstyle, 74 agility, 75 balance, 72 curve, 70 dribbling, some decent attributes for just a 16-year-old. But it is Aaron Holden who looks like he has a bright future ahead of him. Just a 56 overall at 18 years of age is not fantastic, but he has 79 pace at 6'3", 182 pounds. High attacking work rate, 2 to 5 play styles, 81 sprint speed, 78 curve. Only a 58 finishing at this stage, so he will certainly need to go out on loan and develop the more technical side of his game. Dylan Wilson also looks like a solid enough prospect. 63 overall at 18 years of age, 1 to 3 play styles, 65 pace, 65 passing, 61 dribbling. Looks like a fairly well-rounded player. Christensen, too, who is a youth player we signed previously, is starting to come along. 61 overall, 80 to 86 potential with high work rates. So we will be signing a number of those youth prospects ahead of the end of the season so that we can send them out on loan in Season 3. And if we do end up down in the Championship next year, a handful of them may even play a role for the first team. We have, however, managed to find our first 3-star coach with gold wing play. So if we do manage to stay up, potentially these tactics will be our way forward. Staying up involves getting at least 2 points from the next 2 games, though. A draw against Arsenal and Leicester would be fine. If we could lose against Arsenal but beat Leicester, I would be more than happy with that as well. Of course, we're not going to try to lose to Arsenal. 3 points against the Gunners would be more than acceptable, but we are going to rotate the side slightly to rest a handful of key starters. Ryan Fredericks, Jose Cordoba, Kenny McLean and Tiano Ballo each come in, as does Adam Eder, who starts up front. But it is another defeat, a comfortable 3-0 victory for Arsenal. Again, to be expected. Martinelli grabbed 2. Darwin Núñez grabbed the 3rd. Which brings us to our final game of the episode against Leicester City at Carrow Road. It's a really, really important fixture that will determine the ultimate tenor of the episode. A win will give us 7 points in a pretty successful month. A loss is going to make it really difficult to survive. And it looked as though it was going to be another long day for us. Leicester putting the ball in the back of the net just 6 minutes into the game. But thankfully, the linesman's flag did go up and it was ruled out for offside. Leicester didn't let that slow them down though. They were very much the better side in the first half. And it wasn't until the second half that we would have our first real opportunity in the game. Josh Sargent headering just wide from the corner. The Leicester City goalkeeper and defender on the line likely would have had it covered had it been on target. But Leicester continued to dominate. They continued to press for the advantage in the game and they forced Jason Steele into a number of saves. This one at the near post from Leicester captain Harry Winks. This one again parried away, again at the near post, again from Winks. And this one after a favourable bounce after Wesley Hoyt managed to block the initial shot. But despite Jason Steele's heroic efforts, Leicester City did manage to grab the lead. And again, it was a favourable bounce that gave them the opportunity to do so. Jason Steele again making the save, but Evan Nielsen was first to the ball at the back post. And unlike Crystal Palace, Leicester City didn't sit back and defend the lead. Instead, they tried to grab a second goal to secure the victory. Jason Steele yet again denying them from doing so. But as we have seen so often throughout the series, if you don't put this team away, they find a way to come back and grab the equaliser. We've been doing that less and less often of late, but Adam Eder does so here as Josh Sargent squares the ball across the 6-yard box and Eder makes it 1-1. And just 5 minutes later, we had completely turned the game on its head. Ryan Fredericks, another of the substitutions like Adam Eder, breaking down the right-hand side. He had 3 to square it to. Instead, he went himself and slotted the ball tidily between the Leicester City goalkeeper's legs. A finish any striker would have been proud of. And so somehow, despite Leicester City having 66% possession, having far more shots than we did, far more passes than we did, somehow we ran out 2-1 winners. And that's exactly what we needed to finish the episode. I think if we had have lost that game, I think survival would have been all but out of our hands in the final episode of Season 2. But as it stands, I think survival very much still within our grasp. But it is going to go absolutely down to the wire. We have just 4 games left to play. Both Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace above us have games in hand, and we currently sit on 31 points. We said earlier in the season that 35 points should be the target, but I'm not sure that's even going to be enough for survival. And just reaching 35 points is going to be a difficult task enough in itself, as we have Tottenham and Manchester City in the next episode, as well as fixtures against Leeds United and West Ham. So Season 2, like Season 1, is going to come down to the final episode. Is it going to be Premier League football next season, or are we going to be back down in the Championship? Find out next time. I look forward to seeing you there. Take it easy.